What's going on, gamers? Chongo here, and today I've got a gameplay commentary for you guys. The gameplay is of Far Cry 3. I've been playing a little bit of that and enjoying it quite a bit. And yeah, basically my topic for this commentary is going to be pretty much talking about games this year and how I feel that the majority of them are better than last year. So anyway, let's get into it. Now anyway, I want to start off by saying that this game is awesome and I will have a review up in the next couple of days. And yeah, I wasn't originally planning on getting this game, but when I saw gameplay of it, I just had to because of how good it looks, and it plays really well. And for a game that like you need a $500 graphics card to get like the max settings, that's really intense graphics, and yeah, it almost makes me want to buy this really awesome graphics card to see how awesome this game would look at max settings. And the reason I decided to make this commentary is because I was sort of looking back over the last couple of months and the good games that had come out, and sort of thought back to what was really the good games of 2011, and personally I can't really think of too many of them. Like, I mean, Skyrim, maybe Assassin's Creed, that kind of thing, Battlefield if you're into that sort of thing, but like for the most part it wasn't really a really good year when it comes to obviously gaming, whereas this year there's a lot more bigger titles and it obviously was a better year in gaming. I mean, I can think of like 5 or 6 really good games that came out this year, whereas last year I kind of struggle to get that number. Like, there are some good standalones, like obviously Skyrim's something you're going to spend a lot of time in if you're into that sort of thing, but for the most part I find that there's more, well, there was an increased amount of good games this year compared to last year. And also with all these rumours going around about next-gen consoles being released at the end of next year, like this was obviously a couple of years ago, it always thought to me that this year in gaming would probably be kind of bad and we wouldn't expect too many really good games, but however I was proved wrong and I was surprised at how many good games came out this year and stuff that I'm going to go back through and keep playing. Like, maybe it's next year, like if the next gen consoles come out at the end of next year, maybe we're going to have like an absence of all these really big companies next year for like the first quarter or the second quarter, until it gets to the point where obviously the next gen is announced or whenever at E3, and then we're just going to have all these announcements of games coming out in like November and that. So it's kind of going to be like, we may end up with like half a year next year of meh games, and then all of a sudden just have the other half of really, really awesome games, or the last quarter of really, really awesome games. And just over the last month or two, we've had a couple of really awesome games come out, like Assassin's Creed 3, Hitman Absolution, Far Cry 3, and Black Ops 2. Now, obviously I know publishers aim for this part of the year because this is where people are going to go and buy Christmas presents and buy games and all this kind of thing, but it just always surprised me how they didn't kind of think to maybe have, like, look in advance and see what other games are coming out around their game and try and stick it in a month where there's no other really big titles. Like, I mean, Call of Duty Black Ops, it is what seemed like waited a week for Halo, but even then a week isn't really a lot of time. You'd think that maybe they would have pushed Call of Duty out a month earlier and then just everyone buy this game instead of, you know, going to Halo or... Yeah, but obviously they keep fighting to have the last position or the last release game because they sort of think that this is going to be the thing that's going to be most played, since, you know, you just lose interest with a small amount of game and then there's something brand new there for you to play. It's just like, it would have seemed to me that if you put one of these bigger titles, like for example, if you put Assassin's Creed or Far Cry 3 or Hitman in June, when there wasn't really much other games going on, then you would obviously have increased sales, because even people who weren't particularly fussed on that game, they may have like a month or two to wait for something really good. They might think, well, I haven't really got a game to play now, maybe I should just buy that and give it a go. It would have seemed to me that it would have got really good sales, but yeah, obviously that's something publishers don't want to risk and then obviously be forgot about when it comes around to Christmas time. It seems like this year was one of the worst for timing of games and sort of clumping them all together with having like 5 or 6 really awesome games in the space of a month or two, which probably would have been better to space them out and better for us in, like, obviously, instead of just having this whole month or two of just trying to play 6 or 7 different games at the same time, whereas if we had one per month, it would have worked out a lot better and we could have spent more time on each individual game. But obviously that's how it's going to work, and I think next year will probably be worse if next-gen consoles are released. So obviously we're going to see this influx of all these launch titles as well as games that come out a week or two after the next-gen releases, and it's probably going to be crazy if that's going to happen, and there'll probably be a bunch of really good games for next-gen consoles that pretty much, yeah, just get dominated in sales because they're competing with all these other AAA games that will be released for these consoles. Anyway, this brings me to the end of my commentary where I sort of rambled on about 2012 in gaming and obviously a little bit about next-gen consoles and 2013 in gaming. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like, and if you've got any comments about this year in gaming or next-gen consoles or pretty much anything I've talked about, put them below, and if you want to join the Gamerhood, just subscribe. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.